Hello, everyone. My name is John Walker, and this presentation is on communication. Communication is one of the most important aspects in the business world. Communication. Communication is the process by which people send and receive information. Information could be about opinions, facts, or feelings. Everyone needs to know about feelings, like when a boss may be angry or employees are discouraged. You need to know. Communication is at the center of every supervisor. It is important that supervisors communicate to employees and vice versa, and the info is sent and received properly. This is how work gets done. The process of communication. Communication begins with the sender encoding the message. The sender translates their thoughts by words, gestures, facial expressions, or other things. This can be done by writing, speaking, or other personal contact. Noise is anything that can distort a message or be distracting, and then the message is not received properly. Noise can be resolved by paying attention to feedback. Feedback is the way the receiver responds or fails to respond to the message. This helps to make sure they understand the message. The communication process. Here's an example picture of that. You have the sender who encodes the message, and the message is sent either verbal or nonverbal, and the receiver is the one that receives it. He will either provide feedback to make sure it is understood by his response. This will be called decoding. Communicating effectively. Communicate from the receiver's viewpoint. We tend to forget that when communicating, not all people have shared experiences, views, priorities, or interests. So your message could be lost because they do not share these things and do not understand things the way that you do. Learn from feedback. Change the way you communicate by understanding the feedback received. Use strategies for effective listening. Overcome barriers to communication. Ideas for encouraging employees to share. Have an open door policy, meaning you're interested in criticisms and ideas. Keep asking for feedback. This should not be a one-time thing. Seek out information from employees on a regular basis. Support your team and provide support for them. Host team or company meals. Mingle with employees and talk about business and personal topics. People are more relaxed in their social setting and will open up more. Be genuine. If employees know you care, they are more likely to share their insight. Follow up, even if you decide not to act. Let the employee know their decision was considered. Strategies for effective listening. Remove distractions and give the listener your full attention. Look at the speaker most of the time. When the speaker hesitates, give a sign of encouragement with a smile or a nod. Try to hear the main point and supporting points. Distinguish between the opinions and facts. Control your emotions. Be patient. Do not interrupt. That's never a good thing. Take notes. This will help you to remember everything. At appropriate times, ask questions to clarify your understanding. This is where your notes can come in handy. Jot down questions you have. Restate what you think the speaker's point is and ask whether you heard it correctly. Hearing versus active listening. Anyone can hear something being said, but not understand it. Active listening is hearing and also seeking to understand the facts and feelings the speaker is trying to convey, and then giving feedback that you do understand. This can be the difference between a good conversation or where somebody gets upset, easy due to the listener not paying attention. Barriers to communication. Information overload is one of the main ones. Today's world is called the information age. People are bombarded every day with information like television, radio, computers, social media, and voice telephony. Supervisors should only give employees information that will be useful to help with overload. Employees do not need to know everything. There's always curiosity, but it does not help them to understand things going on. Misunderstandings. Word choices. Be careful to make appropriate word choices when encoding a message. Know the difference between you statements and I statements. You statements will put the blame on the listener and it will make them feel incompetent. I statements helps the listener to understand and make out the sender to be more understanding. Types of messages. Nonverbal messages. Major types of nonverbal messages are gestures, posture, tone of voice, facial expression, attire, and even silence. Basically, every which way we move and how we hold our body and with the things we wear. A handshake has been an American greeting for years. It has changed a little or quite a bit this year due to the new pandemic we now face. Handshakes have turned into fist bumps, elbow bumps, or only a short verbal message with no contact at all anymore. Types of messages. The verbal message. People send verbal messages by speaking or writing. When people speak, nonverbal usually supplements verbal messages. Most oral communication is face to face in interviews, conversations, meetings, and formal presentations. The body language for the nonverbal can also be seen during this time, and that is how it supplements the verbal. Written communication happens in memos, letters, reports, emails, bulletin board notices, and posters. Verbal messages. Memos are an informal way to send messages. Letters are more formal and are usually sent to people outside of the organization. A report describes the need of a problem and then proposes a solution if it is a good report. Email is communication done on computers and is one of the main ways people in the business world communicate now. Bulletin board notice or poster communicates a single message to many people and should be put up in high foot traffic areas. And we have come to our conclusion. Communication is important in every aspect of how we live and how people communicate with each other. It can mean the difference between an understanding and a disagreement. Messages need to be delivered correctly. Are there any questions? Thank you for your time.